There's a whiff of optimism from German business as the country's new coalition starts getting down to government. Angela Merkel's chosen partner, the Liberal Free Democrats, under Guido Westerwelle, has given hope to the market. The Liberals are seen as pro-business.
Germany's corporate world consists of 90% or so of small and medium-sized companies. These are not the multinational stock market listed firms, but these are family-owned private entrepreneurial firms, and they of course depend on what's happening in terms of the political agenda in Germany.
Tax cuts or even reform of the complex tax system will make a huge difference to these small and medium-sized companies of between 500 and 6,000 employees. Known as Mittelstand companies, some of whose products are known worldwide, they provide 70% of Germany's jobs and are the main drivers of the economy. They felt let down by the previous administration.
Well, new government, new hope, new opportunities. And here I hope that the new government will cut tax, will cut bureaucracy here, and of course here easing the credit lines, and most important for me, to give a sense of optimism also.
It's a very positive signal for Germany, for the economic prospect in this country. I think there's room for maneuvering in terms of bringing about new reforms, lending new stimulation to the economy, and overall I think the signal is pointing towards a more prosperous development in Germany.
It's the Mittelstand companies like Faber-Castell, more often than not family-owned, usually very debt-averse, that are considered to be the backbone of the German economy. And indeed, they are credited with bringing the country out of recession.
You can find Faber-Castell products all over the world. The company was started in 1761 with the owner, the Baron Faber, turning the humble pencil into the world's first brand name writing implement. The company has been owned by the same family for 8 generations. Reform of inheritance tax and simplification of the corporate tax structure will certainly help this sort of company. Former hedge fund owner, now running a bank that raises money for these Mittelstand companies, Stefan Müller thinks the new government is good news.
These companies are companies that will benefit from the CDU and FDP program, since they really take care of their employees, but they need reasons to stay in Germany. You cannot handle them like big corporates, like you have them in the US, mainly in Japan and France and UK. These are people you can talk to who take care of their employees, and this is what Germany is good for. This is made in Germany.
That made in Germany reputation for quality and expertise is exemplified by KHS, another typical Mittelstand company. With sales of €1 billion, it employs more than 5,000 people in 5 countries, including several plants in Germany. It's one of the world's leading suppliers of machinery for the food industry, with its products found in every corner of the globe.
The core business here is making the machinery for bottling plants and also for the food packaging business. And the company says that despite the economic slowdown, world populations are growing. Everybody has to eat and drink, and they are seeing signs of a pickup.
It hasn't been easy for the company, though, over the past year. In the first half of this year, orders were down nearly 30% on the same period of the previous year.
On average, the German industry, machine equipment industry, were affected by between 30 and 40%. We are having tough times to adapt ourselves, to cut costs, to cut capacity here, but we are very optimistic that we are doing quite well in terms of adaptation of ourselves.
Achtung, Roger.
Typical of the ethos of a Mittelstand company, KHS, instead of laying off workers wholesale, put them on short-time working with financial help from the government and put their spare time to good use.
During these hard times, we tried to train our people, and we implemented a very strong training programs here in order to prepare ourselves for the next upswing.
It isn't all plain sailing for Germany just yet. Those government-subsidised Kurzarbeit, or short-term working schemes, are still in place, but those contracts are set to expire next year, and then companies may well have to cut their workforces.
At the moment we have around about 1.4 million people in short-time work, And part of that number is going to show up in official unemployment statistics further down the road. So in the near term, Germany is going to see higher unemployment, but in the longer term, I think the prospects have improved. Economic growth is going to strengthen.
And that will depend to a large extent on the Mittelstand companies. The new coalition have now agreed on tax cuts. Less than the Free Democrats sought, but more than Mrs. Merkel wanted. They now have the joint headache of the burgeoning budget deficit, set to hit 6% of GDP next year. Tough public spending restraint will be needed, but those tax cuts will boost domestic demand and jobs in the longer term. That's good for Germany and also the global economy.